So I fucked a coon, a catfish, and a whack nigga, like all bundled up into one. I got a package deal.
Freak house. Freak house.
Hey y'all, coming to you live. Not really live, but you know what I'm saying. Freaky Friday here, Gwen, with a story time for you called Don't Let Whack Niggas Fuck You, period. The sex was so bad, I had to walk out, and how I basically had sex with the coon. So let's begin. So I had just broken up with my ex like 2 or 3 months prior to this experience, and this was a guy that I had lost my virginity to. All of my friends thought I would never have sex again. They were like, girl, like, you gonna be celibate for life. I was like, watch out. So I went on Tinder. Tinder is the devil. And I was like swiping, and I swiped on this dude, and his picture is really sexy. He messages me and he's like,
You trying to fuck?
if that's the first thing a nigga says, he does not know how to fuck. But me being me, I was like, oh my God, like straight to the point, cute. So I was like, yeah, like you can see what my pussy tastes like, daddy. And I gave him my number. The first thing he texts me is a dick pic. His dick is literally like 10 inches and soda can. So I'm like, hey, like that's a bet. And he lives like a mile from me. It was like God had just put everything in place for me to be like have sex. So I'm like talking to him, and he seems like a pretty cool dude. I'm thinking like, I'm really like, this is a catch. I go to meet up with him. He comes out of his house. He told me he was 6'2". He was 5'5". Girl, he was wearing a hoodie and Superman pajama pant bottoms and flip-flops, and his feet were ashy. And he gets in my car. And so I'm sitting in my car, and I'm like looking at him like, and he has his hoodie on, and he's like,
Wow, like you're not what I expected you to look like.
and I'm sitting here thinking like, nigga, you a whole catfish. Like, what you mean I'm not what you expected me to look like? Like, what? And so I'm like trying to like get my thoughts together, like, what do I do? But I know that if I fake on him, my friends will like be like, you fake on everyone, like you weren't even gonna have sex. And I was trying to like put myself out there. So I was like, okay, Gwen, like he did catfish you. He's way shorter than he said he would be. Like doesn't really look like his photos, but like let's give it a try anyways. Talk to him. So I start talking to him. That was my first mistake. Just like, if you're trying to fuck someone and they look good, he didn't look good. But if they look good and you're trying to fuck and that's it, don't talk to them. Because if they open their mouth and they say something stupid, it's gonna turn you off. And he sure did say something stupid. Keep in mind, this guy is black. He's like Creole. I'm saying that for the next sentence that's coming. So he says, yeah, I used to be a thug. Like, I used to be a real wannabe thug back in the day, and I would like sag my pants. But then he met a friend, and he specifically told me, and this friend was white, and he said this friend like really like showed me the like how important education was, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm like, okay, like that's cool that you learned how important education was. Don't know why it was relevant you telling me he was white, but that's cool. And so he goes on to say, I'm like talking about myself, and he's like,
I don't normally have sex with black girls. You're really not what I expected. I was expecting you to be way more ratchet.
I was like, in my head, I'm like, I feel like I'm like not on planet Earth right now. Like, this is not real. Like, what are you talking about, nigga? But I sat there and I was like, okay, like, you really just said that, but I'm gonna boop, boop, like skip over it. And so I kept like talking, and I was like, so do you want to go inside? He was like, no, like, let's talk a little more. And I'm like, nigga, I'm not trying to. I'm trying to see that zick. Still, that cooney zick. So he kept talking, and eventually he was like, okay, we can go inside. So we go inside. The lights are off, and I'm coming in. I'm thinking that this nigga is 25 and like living on his own, like has his shit together. So we go into his house, the lights are off. I'm like talking to him, he's like, shh, be quiet. I'm like, okay. And so we go to his basement, and he's like, you know, my mom is up. I'm like, why are you worried about your mom, nigga? You 25. All the lights are off. He didn't turn them on, like they were off. And the floor that we're walking on, because I'd taken off my shoes, girl, the floor was damp because the bathroom had flooded. So I'm like walking on wet carpet, literally hearing my feet squish. And so he has like a little like mattress thing laid out on the ground, and he has a couch like against the wall, and some other stuff that I couldn't really see because it's dark and I'm blind. And so I sit on the couch and I'm like talking to him for a little bit, and I'm like trying to get out of him. I'm like, you know, I'm kind of tired, etc. And he feels the fakery about to happen, so he comes up and he starts kissing me, like I'm sitting on the couch and he's standing over me and he grabs my neck and starts kissing me. Terrible kisser. So I like move my mouth like you can just keep going. Kisses down my neck. I don't know how you can make kissing down someone's neck bad, but he managed. Then started sucking on my nipples. Horrible. Like just felt like like there was just not like I really don't know. Like, where did you get that from, dude? You've never sucked on anything before. It's not that hard. And then he starts kissing, and then he starts eating me out. Terrible. Just terrible, like just awful. And I'm like, you know, that's good, I'm good. Like, you don't, like, I'm good. And like, I guess he's trying to be sexy and aggressive. So he like pulls me to the ground and like turns me around and like goes at it. And I am just like, wow, what a waste. Like, God really blessed you with a 10-inch dick, and you really just don't know how to use it. Like, granted, you're young, but I can just tell that you're never gonna learn. Like, just from the movements of your body, like, this is it for you. And this is embarrassing for you. Like, you should be embarrassed right now. And so, like, that happened. We, like, tried a different couple of positions. So, at one point, he's like, hitting me from the back, and I start, like trying to get into it for myself, like, girl, you gotta get something out of this. And I start like throwing that ass back. This nigga's like, whoa, stop. And I'm like turning around, like, what is wrong with you? He needs me to be still, otherwise he will come. Like, that blew my mind. At that point, I was like, it's time to dip, bitch. So I say, hey, can you just get off of me? And he's like,
why?
And I say, I really just need to go. Like, I have to go get something from my car. I have to go. And he's like,
well, can't you just get it later?
I'm like, no, trust me, you're gonna want this. And so I'm putting on my shoes and like grabbing my keys. And he's like,
why do you need to grab all your shit if you're just going to your car to pick this up?
But I'm like, just because I do, nigga, I don't know you. And I walk to my car, and I get in, and I think I called Kadira, and I was like, girl, like, you will not believe what just happened. I literally just let a coon enter my temple, and he's like blowing me up, and I'm like, don't ever contact me again, and I blocked him. And I drove off, and I literally had to take an hour-long shower and just, again, get my life, just drag myself. Like, girl, first of all, you can just... And that was the time I almost fucked a coon. So yeah, that's my story for you. Just watch out for them. They out here, and they are really like on the prowl. Over and out, ladies. I want them to feel like I'm like talking to them. You know I hate men.